Hello arty peoples and welcome to another episode of Jerry's Live. My name is Emmy Klein and I'm your host this evening. Today I have a really fun show planned that is going to be all about a new product that just hit the market, the SoHo Glitter Bomb Watercolors. And it is everything I hope you are expecting, because it is just going to be such a fun product to show off. So it is watercolor. We are going to be working in watercolors today. So I'm going to also be working on, down here on the table I have the SoHo watercolor block. This is a block, so it is glued on all four sides. There is a little spot where I can actually pull it up with a palette knife, which I'll do after I swatch all of these out. But that's the surface I'm going to be working on. And I'll also be using some Polar Flow brushes. These are meant for watercolor. They're really great. But the SoHo is the reason why we're here. So these are 12 colors, I believe, that are, semi-moist. So they reactivate pretty quickly when you go to use them. Beautiful, really, really vibrant colors. And it's just, I can describe them as glittery, but I think the proof is going to be in how we show them in the swatch. So I'm going to get straight to it. Now, before I actually do swatch these, I just remembered, if you are interested in any of the products that I use on today's show, make sure to go to the website, JerrysArtarama.com, and type in today's class code. That is JL380. It is down here on the screen in case you want to reference it for later. But JL380, if you type that in the search bar, today's teacher's cart should come up and everything I'm using should be in there. So let's get to swatching, because this is going to be so much fun. All right, so let me open this up and kind of move this over to where I have enough space to work. I also have on the table the Aqua Mist bottle. The reason why, and here, let me actually show you these watercolors. This has not been touched. I just opened them. So this is how they look when they are straight out of the package, which is really fun. And then, of course, you have all the swatches on the back. But when you open them, you have a variety of colors here. Now, it doesn't look super crazy sparkly. It does have a little bit of a sheen to them that you can see when you open it up out of the package, but it really starts to shine when you activate them. And the way that I usually like to do this is I just take the Aqua Mist bottle and spritz the whole thing. I'm gonna actually try not to get this. The other thing that you can do if you don't have the Aqua Mist bottle, even though I highly recommend you get one, is to just take your brush, dip it in water, and kind of shake off a couple drops of watercolor, of water onto the watercolor pans as soon as you open it. So the longer you let it sit there, the more the glitter is going to activate, because glitter in general is a lot heavier than pigment. It always depends on the pigment, but it doesn't move the same way as pigment, and this is definitely not super crazy fine. Like, where if you ever look at like an iridescent paint or anything that has like mica in it, it's been ground down so fine to where it just has that like pearlescent sheen. This is not that. This is glitter. So I'm gonna start at the very top here, and of course, if you guys do have any questions as we go along, my amazing moderators Amanda and Jillian are in the chats, depending on what platform you're on. And if you ask your question to one of them, they will ask it while I'm here live. And so I'm just gonna jump straight in and get started on this. So the more I swirl my brush around, the more glitter I can pick up. But as you can see, that color is already picking up, because these are really beautifully pigmented as well. Now, I hope you guys can see this. Let me also hold it up. I'm gonna get a little bit of a gradient here going. Try and get a little bit more of that heavier on this side. Kind of work it down. That way you guys can see. And this right here is the Brilliant Yellow. I don't know if you guys can see. I know it's wet, so it's gonna have a shine to it like that. Can you guys see the glitter on here? Let me actually, maybe if we go to that side camera, that might be a great way to do this. Let me scooch things around here. That might be the way to go. So it is wet, so there's only so much tipping I can do for right now. Can you guys see the glitter on that? This is like the hardest thing to pick up on camera. It is one of those things. Now, once it's dry, I can also hold it up. Okay, good. We're seeing glitter. Whew. I was like, it's there. I swear. It is hard. Yeah, the water is shiny as well. So once that actually dries, because we're just gonna have to wait for the watercolor to, or the water to evaporate and leave behind all that beautiful pigment. But now we have our orange. Which has a beautiful, almost like peachy undertone to it when you get it pulled out. The color itself, not the glitter. Let me kind of, again, I'm going to try and keep it on the heavier side here, so you guys can really see this. And I don't know, I'm going to attempt to just push this up here. You can hopefully see that. Is that coming across? Yay! Okay, and there's that brilliant yellow. Do you have a question?
Yes, Kathy on YouTube was wondering if there was a major difference between the metallic SoHo watercolors and these glitter watercolors.
I love that you guys are asking that. Yes, metallic is just going to have a metallic sheen where that sparkly, the mica has been ground down so fine to where it has a just sort of metallic kind of feel to it. Like I said, this is glitter. This is just pure glitter. And actually, once I swatch these, I'll show you guys some artwork where I have finished. And I can actually show you. And while we're at it, can you grab me the metallic set as well? Because I might as well show them side by side. We have them in the studio. So, all right, next up we have crimson. Oh, I love that you already had it. You had it prepared. All right, I will go over the metallic in a minute. But here's the crimson, which is absolutely stunning. Now, there are two reds in this palette. There's the crimson and the carmine. One of them has glitter that leans kind of warm, and the other one has glitter that leans kind of cool. So one of them has like a reddish glitter to it, and I believe it's this crimson one. I can never remember which one's which until I swatch them. This is why swatching is important. And then the other one has a glitter that leans a little bit more towards yellow, which is kind of cool, even though it's a red paint. So let me hold this one up. There is that crimson. I hope that glitter is coming across. It is really subtle, especially in the finer washes, but once this dries, that glitter goes and it becomes so prominent and so pretty. All right, now here's the crimson, or I'm sorry, carmine. Crimson was the one we just did. Here is carmine. Ugh. Color itself is very like a magenta. It's very pretty. Trying to get nice and heavy over here with that glitter. So these are really, really wonderful if you want to have like a really subtle kind of sparkle to your work where it's a little unexpected, especially in the lighter washes because the glitter does become quite subtle. But it's one of those things where it really catches your eye once it starts to dry. And you just, when you move it around, like if this were framed on a gallery wall, I would immediately go up and be like, oh. Now, before I get too far, this is what I want to show you, the artwork. Because this, I feel like, is going to be a little bit easier for you guys to see. Because in between the glitter, here we go. In between the glitter, I actually used the Turner acrylic gouache in a grayish blue. So it's glittery. There you go. You can really see it in that blue. Woo! It's all so sparkly. This is where my ADHD would go off in any gallery show, and I just be like, oh, is that pretty? Also, we've all discussed this, and we've all said that we want this in wallpaper, but this took me a really long time to paint, so I don't know how long that would take me to do a whole room, but anybody willing to print this, let me know. But glitter is required. So that is actually what we were using for the packaging. So there's your packaging artwork. Got some of the flowers on the back. But yeah, so it is quite sparkly. And then of course I'll swatch the metallic watercolors a little bit later in the show. But I still want to swatch out the rest of these. So we have Cersei is next. We have a question?
Yeah, how is that on staining your brush? See, you're using a white brush, so.
Oh yeah, I was worried about that because I was like, these are so vibrant and crazy. These are still pigment based. They are not dye based. So these are going to be archival. They're going to be light fast. They're not going to have a problem with fading. Now I'm just using, of course, the same bucket that I always use, and once I rinse it out with some water, it's a clean brush. It's one of those things where it's if it were dye, it would stain my brush really badly, but these aren't dye, they're pigment. So this right here is this Cerise. I always say Cersei and I'm like, that's wrong.
Katie and I just looked at each other and were like,
You've been watching too much Game of Thrones.
yeah.
I have not. It's one of those things. Cerise, sorry, I misspoke. It's one of those things, I think it's one of those words where my brain sees the first couple letters and the last couple and it just fills in the blank and then I just don't think about it until I get the Katie look of, you got that wrong. But here is Cerise. Cerise, yeah. See, I'm double checking myself. This is how my brain works, which is really pretty. It has that like magenta purpley kind of tone, whereas like, you know, the Carmine is a little bit more of the pink. This has definitely leans more purple, and then it has a beautifully like purpley glitter in there. Again, it's just gonna shine once it starts drying, and actually I think you can probably start seeing the glitter on the top ones now that they're drying. You can see that really coming out. Do you have another question?
Yes, we have 2 more questions on YouTube.
Love it.
The first one is, how does the paint pick up compared, like using it like a moist panned versus like regular panned watercolors?
Well, like I said, I just spritzed my whole palette with water and just started swatching. It did not take a whole lot of anything for me to start getting really vibrant brush loads. Like, it's hard to like brush. The paint comes off onto your brush really fast. It is such a vibrant paint. This is one of those ones where the first time I got it, I thought it was going to be gimmicky. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be like, you know, it's like a silly glitter paint. And then I started painting with it and I was like, holy pigment Batman. It is so vibrant, and it's one of those things where the color holds its own, and then on top of that it has glitter. It was really, really surprising that I got such beautifully pigmented, vibrant colors immediately. It did not take a whole lot of anything for me to get that right there. I'm not working at it very hard. Now, you said you had another question?
Yes, Kathy was also wondering if the glitter is all silver or all gold, or does the glitter color match the color of the paint?
That is a beautiful question. Really, really great question. It varies. So the brilliant yellow, because I'm gonna probably go color by color once I'm done, because it does have such a variety of answers. Not all of them are silver, no. It does have some variation, but I can't say that all of them match the color of the paint either. Because like I said, we have 2 reds in this set, like the crimson and the carmine. One of them, the crimson, has red glitter. The carmine has a glitter that leans more yellow. So you get a flash of yellow as it moves. So it's one of those, there you go, you can see it now. Where it's like, that is red glitter. And the orange is orange, but it's like a yellow orange. And then the brilliant yellow, trying to catch the light just right, is a yellow glitter as well. This right here, the cerise, is like a purpley glitter, but not as dark as the one in the violet. The violet is like a blue-violet glitter that kind of sparkles. So the color itself is like a beautiful purple, and then you get a flash of this blue-violet. Cyan is the color and the glitter are pretty much on point with each other. They match. And then we have, well, this is a word I struggle with, azurite blue. Did I say that right? Y'all know I struggle with words. If you've been watching the show, you know words are not my friend.
It's better than fancy.
At least I read this word all the way. Azurite blue. It's a similar to like an ultramarine, where it kind of has that like really pretty, there we go, kind of purpley blue. It would be beautiful for all kinds of water scenes. Do we have a question?
Once it is dry, is there like transfer?
That's an amazing question, and I am prepared for this. I will actually show you that a little bit later on. Do not let me forget, because I wanted to go over how to work with these, because the glitter does have some transfer. It is actually quite surprising how well it sticks to the paper, because this is watercolor. There's not a, like with acrylics where the binder really fuses onto whatever surface that you're working with. This is watercolor. You can always go back and work back into these. So like it's not as permanent. So it's one of those things where there is some transfer, but it's not like you wipe all of the glitter off. You know, like it's minimal. So to combat that, we'll go over that a little bit later on in the show. But I have it planned. I have examples. All right, so there's the azurite blue. I really hope I'm saying that. I apologize if I'm not.
See how it would be different than what you're saying.
There's a potential. Now that one, like I said, it's a really pretty blue. And again, the glitter does kind of match that tone where it's pretty on point. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then we are going to go down. Oh, that is the wrong side of my brush. This is the problem with a brush that has a white bristles and a white cap at the end. I just dipped the wrong side. In case anybody out there has ever dipped your paintbrush in backwards, don't worry, you're not alone. I do it too. Okay, so now we have a brilliant green, and we do have two greens here in our palette. And we're gonna have something that's similar to like the reds, where one has a glitter that leans, I believe, green, or like a green blue. And then the other one leans, I believe, yellow, if memory serves me correctly. It's been a minute since I've swatched these. All right, let me get this nice and heavy on the glitter side. Again, I'm not trying to be very precious with these swatches. I'm just trying to get some nice color down. There you go. Yes, the color of the glitter on this is similar to the color that you're seeing here, but it does lean, I think, a little bit more blue. Greens, now I'm describing these just in case that the camera isn't quite picking it up, especially with the greens. Cameras have such a weird time with greens for whatever reason. It's just the way that it happens. All right, now this turquoise, love this color. This is the one that has the sort of yellow glitter. Such a beautiful color. So that's the one thing with turquoise, is that there's no real standard for turquoise, but this one is going to lean a little bit more blue, whereas some other turquoise leans a little bit more yellowy kind of green. But this one, because it has the glitter that leans more yellow, it's going to have that flash of yellow when you tip it in the light. This is the one, I think this and the purple were the ones that I ended up using in the shadows of my leaves here. It worked really, really well. So fun. And then we're getting close to my favorite, which is the very last one, of course. I'm gonna also put some extra water on that just to make sure that it's nice and activated. You have another question?
Yes. Everyone was admiring your beautiful artwork, and they were wondering if you need to use an underpainting before using the glitter watercolors.
Are you talking about the background?
Yes.
No. I actually did all of the watercolors first, and then I carved around my shapes with the Turner acrylic gouache. Now the reason why, and I actually did do a test on this, is because the glitter watercolor will go on top of your Turner acrylic gouache, in case you're interested in doing like a mixed media piece with this, like I did. But it's one of those things where you could do that like sort of first base layer for your background first, and then do the watercolors as well as you can, and then kind of clean up the edges. For me, I just wanted to clean up the edges at the very end and not worry about it. So all I did was just the watercolors, and then if I had like an oopsie where the watercolor kind of spilled across the line, no one can see it. I painted over it. But I will say, when you're painting the background on this, if you decide to do it this way, you have to be very precise because the Turner acrylic gouache will absolutely cover up any of the watercolor. So all those little edges that I have here, I used a pretty fine brush, like a very fine detail brush, because I wanted to make sure that I really got those shapes perfect, and I didn't want to have to start over again. Now, this one is one of my favorites. It's really hard to pick a favorite with these, but this one is the holographic white. So this is a white paint. It's not as opaque as like a bleed-proof white, but the glitter in it, and I'm gonna actually add a little bit of water here so this can move a little bit more. The glitter in it is holographic, and this is the only one that has a holographic glitter in there. But it's so pretty. This is actually the one color that I used in the the white daisies on my artwork. So there's that holographic glitter all over those flowers. They look like light blue because I had the blue for shadows, and then it kind of mixed because of watercolors. But I liked that holographic glitter. You can kind of see it as I tilt it and it gets dark, but hopefully, I know the water right now is making the whole thing shine, and you're probably not quite getting that color. It's really hard to see whether or not you guys can see what I'm seeing. But I can pull these up, and if you look at the white flowers, you can see that kind of holographic shift that I love so, so, so much. It is so fun. Now, I also have another piece of artwork here, in case you guys are wondering. Oop, and I almost dropped it. You can do an entire piece with glitter watercolors as well. That is all glitter that's shining right there. But this is one of those ones where I wanted to push the color. So like if I tilt this just enough to where you guys don't get any of the flash, you can just see how well the colors work as watercolor colors, but then you get a little bit of shine kind of everywhere as soon as, yeah, you can see that holographic kind of coming through right there. But this is one of those ones where like if I got a little bit lighter, I don't have as much of like punchy glitter as I did like here with the violet, where that glitter just got really, really heavy. So that's one thing that you can control, is how much glitter you get with how much you're kind of loading up your brush. But yeah, full watercolor piece. So I figured we'd also play around with these and actually do some watercolors, of course. But before I do want to jump into that question you guys had about finishing these. I painted an orange. We have oranges here on this the office, so I grabbed an orange before I ate it and painted it. So with this one, half of this is varnished. You can't tell because I only put a very light coat on it. It's one of those things where you don't need a ton. Don't go crazy. You're not trying to shellac the whole thing in like a layer of resin or anything. You're just trying to make sure that everything sticks, right? So this side does not have any varnish. This side does. So if I take my finger and I do that, hopefully you guys can see, there's minimal glitter. Like it is coming off, but like very lightly. Now this side, I only did one single coat and there's no glitter that came off. That's all you need is a single coat of I do suggest a spray varnish because this is watercolor. You don't want to brush anything on. Anything you brush on is going to move your glitter, your paint, everything, because it does reactivate. It's a watercolor, just like any other watercolor. But that's how, if you don't want to put this in under glass, that is one way of kind of making sure that you're not going to have any issues with that glitter kind of coming off, or your watercolor being damaged. The other thing you can do, of course, is always frame it under glass. It's not uncommon with watercolors, But yeah, here's my little orange. But I figured we'd play around with these and do some fun mixtures. So to go over the colors one last time before I rip this off and have it sitting off to the side, we have brilliant yellow, orange, crimson, carmine, cerise, violet, cyan, azurite blue, brilliant green, turquoise, lemon yellow, and holographic white. Now I'm going to also, one last time, just kind of rotate them with some pretty glitter views, hopefully. You have a question?
Yes. Someone is asking if you paint over dark with the holographic white, can you tell, or is it just like the holographic glitter?
The color does kind of get eaten up by the dark color of the paper. Like if you're using like a black watercolor paper, I've tried these on black watercolor paper. Yes, I can, if you want to see it swatched, I can. But the color itself kind of dies because it's black paper. This color, really does shine better on white paper. But yes, you do get the glitter. I mean, that's definitely one of those things. We have some scraps here. So that is a great question, and really good to know that this is not something I would recommend on black. So let's take like the orange here. You're gonna see the flash of the glitter, but the color is gone, because it's just gonna soak into that dark paper. So, great question, but this is what's gonna happen. But yeah, just something to know. Now, let me also just finish sparkles. This is such a fun product. So yeah, there's your violet. It has that blue violet kind of flash. Cyan is going to be very cyan. That's going to also match with the azurite blue. That brilliant green is also going to match. This is where we're starting to get back into the ones that are a little bit wet. But you can see the color of that sparkle now. And then this one kind of flashes yellow, which works really well with that turquoise. And then lemon yellow. Hopefully that's coming across. And then the holographic. So fun. Love that one. All right, now I'm going to rip this off real quick. Actually, never mind. I prepared a different pad. Haha. Figured we can paint some more plants. Those are really fun. Oh, and actually, I do apologize. I wanted to swatch out the metallics so that you guys can see kind of the difference. Can you give me the bigger palette? The ones with the bigger pans? Because I have a big brush up here and I think that's going to be a harder thing to paint with. Now I am going to actually rip this off of here. just like I would any other watercolor block. There is a little spot right on the front where I'm just going to put my palette knife in, nice and flat, and then just kind of go around the edges just to release that sheet. Thank you. Perfect. All right. There we go. I'll put that over there. And then I'm going to swatch a couple of these metallic watercolors here. This one has a tab before I rip it. All right, so this is same brand, SoHo, but this is the metallic set, just to kind of give you a couple of, compare and contrasts. So straight out of the pack, you can see that these are really more like jewel tones, whereas these feel almost like a little bit more pastel. But once you start activating them, let's go with this like reddish color here. We'll just go over here. And then I'm gonna probably let this dry as well before we compare. I'll do a couple of colors just so you can have a couple to compare to. This feels a little bit more like that azurite blue as well. So the colors are still quite lovely, but they are metallic. It's one of those things where you have to remember it's a different kind of beastie. Now this one is the raw, or the shimmer raw gold, which is the one that I feel like has more glittery effect of all the metallics. So I'll kind of put that on there too. And then one more. Let's go purple. All right. So there we go. We'll let that dry for just a minute, and while we're waiting for that, I will get started on a fun painting. Now, I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that these will do once you start mixing them. The thing I also really love about this watercolor set is that it has this giant lid right here that I got something on. Whoops. Where is it on the other side? There we go. It is on the other side. This is all of my mixing space. I honestly have not found that I needed any more than that, especially because there's only 12 colors, but if you wanted to, you can also get a different mixing plate. So these are really, really, really vibrant colors, right? You can see how vibrant they are immediately when you swatch them. They also really do amazing things once you start toning them down. So right here, when I take the orange and mix it in with blue, because they're opposite on the color wheel, I start getting a little bit more of a desaturated color. I want a little bit more blue. I can do that too. And start getting moody tones, which are quite lovely. And you can even draw that out a little bit. And the more water you add, the more it starts to pull some of that glitter as well. But there's only so far that glitter is going to travel. So without actually brushing it, kind of a thing. So if you want to move the glitter more, you actually should brush it. But it's watercolor, so it's one of those things where trying not to overwork it is really, really important. But you can see that really vibrant blue went to like this beautifully muted tone right here. That has glitter in it, and I love it so, so much. Another one of my other favorite mixtures is, was it this one? No, it was the Brilliant Green, and I believe the Crimson. I'm gonna also try and get this a little bit more worked because it dried out, and so a little bit more, and I can get more of that color. I'll also push this up a little bit. Now the paper I'm also working on is, I believe, a cold press texture. Let me just triple check. Yeah, cold press texture. So when it comes to, like, see, you can see that this that is the wine red, the shimmer wine red. That right there is starting to almost granulate because the shimmer metallic pigments are starting to settle into those little grooves of the paper. The glitter will do something very similar, but it doesn't get as granulated as this, to be aware. So let me grab this right here. Start mixing it over here. So I'm using the crimson and the brilliant green. And it also makes a really beautifully muted tone. I'm trying to like just give you like a big chunk of that to see as well. So you don't have to just do really vibrant, crazy paintings with these. You could actually do something very quite subtle and really moody and beautiful once you start getting those darker tones kind of. That almost looks like a little fox. Is it just me? There's the head, there's the little paws. Anywho, so the other thing that you can also do is mix a chromatic black, because there is no black on this palette. So right here I have the blue and the orange. It got quite dark, but we have a brilliant yellow, the crimson, and the cyan, I believe, are the ones that I always suggest we mix together. Let me actually spritz this again so I can kind of have these all activated and not have to sit here and try and swirl my brush around. Let me turn this as well. Alright, so there's the brilliant yellow. Okay, drip off as much of that as I can. My brush likes to hold on to everything. And now I have glitter all over my hands. It's fine. This is a show I figured I'd be a little glittery at the end. Alright, there's that red, which is crimson, and it makes a beautiful orange as well. But this orange is going to be different than this orange because this orange has the glitter that leans orange. This one has glitter that leans red and yellow. So you're going to have a slightly different kind of glittery effect, which is fun. But there we go. And then I wanted cyan. That might be a little bit much. So that leans green. So when you're making a chromatic black, this happens a lot. You have to just kind of keep going back and forth and keep mixing. Still leans a little green. Let's go back to red. And now a little bit more blue. Getting closer. Now I'm cross-contaminating, which is okay. These aren't really all that hard to clean out either. Let's kind of check it. It feels a little bit more brown than I want it to. Which, again, if you really just want to stick with these three colors, you can. I'm going to start dipping into like other colors because that purple is calling my name. It is so pretty. And a little bit of orange. And the more colors I mix in, the more different pigments of, or the more different glitter colors that I would get. So this can be almost like a different kind of rainbow effect of all the different kind of colors that are happening. And a little bit of that azurite blue. It's not exactly a chromatic black, but keep tweaking it and we'll eventually get there. And eventually I just start pooling everything into one puddle, because why not? That leans a little bit green. None of these colors, they're all mud, but none of them are ugly. They're all so pretty and moody, and I love them so much. We have a question?
Yes, we have two more questions on YouTube. The first one, someone was wondering if you could use this paint in a calligraphy nib.
Ooh, I don't know if that would work because the glitter might not flow off the nib well. I have not tried. That would be a really good thing to test. I'm not entirely sure though. Great question. Like I said, these are brand new. I I don't think it would work, but it's worth a try. Great question though. Now I wanted to quickly show you guys, these are the metallics. You can kind of see they have that metallic sheen to them. This one is the one that's the most glittery of all of them, the ones that say shimmer. But even that is not as glittery as the ones that we have in this pack. And then there's the purple as well. So you can see that all the glitter, hopefully, yeah, that's the difference. Like this is so fine, whereas like you can see chunks of glitter here. So, yeah. We have another question?
Yes. One person was wondering if you had mixed the glitter and the metallic SoHos and if that was possible.
Absolutely, that's possible. Why not? So if you wanted to, you could do a layer of metallic and then go on top and do a layer of glitter, or back and forth, either way. They're both watercolors. They will both work with each other. Absolutely. You can mix them together on your palette if you want to. You can do anything. There is no limits. There's no limits to your creativity. I love it. Okay, so question for everybody. Should I do this little leafy twig in like a bright rainbow, or should I go moody? I'll let you guys decide in the chats while I'm cleaning off this palette, the mixing space. And to clean that off, just so you guys do know, all I do is I take a paper towel or rag and just kind of wipe it up, especially while it's wet. Wiping it up while it's wet is a lot easier than trying to get that glitter off when it's dry. It's just like any other watercolor. Once it's dry, you're gonna have to kind of scrub at it and make it like work to get that off. But it's one of those things that if you just pick it up while it's wet, not a problem. So I'm gonna get a little sip of water. And how are we doing on the votes? I feel like there's always a little bit of delay with these, so I want to give you guys a second to answer that question. But ready to jump in. I love painting with these watercolors. They're so fun. All right, so I do want to also clean up this right here, a little cross-contamination. If I just dip my paper towel also into the wet palette that is got the wrong color in it, it picks up all of the color and kind of leaves the glitter behind. All right, so how are we looking? Are we doing rainbows? We're gonna go moody.
On YouTube, we're half moody and half mermaid.
How are we doing on Facebook?
We're a little more moody.
Okay.
But Gigi did say you should do moody in the back and bright in the front.
Ooh, that's a lot of glitter. How about this? I'll start off rainbow and then I'll go to moody.
Ooh.
We'll do both. Now, oh, my yellow is also cross-contaminated, but that's okay. Because if I just do a little swoosh of water in there and pick up that color, pull it off here, it should be mostly clean. It should be fine. All right, so I have just a little quick sketch, nothing crazy or anything, just some eucalyptus leaves. There was no image or anything I was really specifically following. I was just looking at various leaves and following the same shapes. But I'm going to be working wet into wet, so we're just going to kind of grab some of this glitter and then pull it in. Now, I'm also using the number 6 round polar flow, so this comes to a really fine point and gets me a really lovely fine line when I pull it down, which is just what I want for this little twiggy bit. But I don't want that orange to keep going. Now, I have 2 leaves here that are overlapping. I'm going to have a little bit of the purples kind of happening on the back leaf, I think, with this cerise. And then I kind of want to go opposite on the one right in front of it. What do you think? Should I go? I'm gonna ask just you guys. What colors do you think I should do? Just to make it pop off of the purpley kind of color here.
Green.
I feel like green. Green would be good. Green would be fun. Now, it's really easy. As you can see, I'm already getting such vibrant colors. And it's going on super easy. This is actually still wet, and I kind of want that to mix a little bit more. So I'm gonna move that around just a bit. Pull that. So maybe if I use a dry brush and kind of pick up some of that water, give me almost a little bit of a subtle peachy tone there, which is really pretty. Get a little bit of this purple, but I don't want dark purple. So I'm gonna add some water to that because that gets real dark real fast. Yeah, I like the idea of the green. I think that's gonna be fun. But because that is really wet, what I just did, I'm gonna leave that until the very end. We're not gonna be playing with that just yet. Because that would immediately flow into each other. Because it is water, water takes the path of least resistance. So I'm going to let that be for right now and do the other leaves. None of this is precious. I'm just kind of playing and having fun. Just playing with color. Just having some vibrant pinks and such here. Let's actually pull that out into a lighter tone. Why not? Maybe we'll pull a little bit more of that yellow back down. Why not? I do love when pink and yellow start to mix. They make this really, really pretty orange. Almost like a peach kind of color. I love peach color. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, I like that. That's fun. Okay, so let's go a little bit of purple just to kind of transition from that red down into these blues. I'm gonna go with the azurite blue first because it leans closer to purple than the cyan. Just go up to that. I'm not going any further because I'm going to pull that in and make that all kind of a funky green. And then because this is a branch, the further I go down, the thicker that branch is going to actually get. Why not? And then so that's green. We can go a little bit more kind of cyan to the greens over here so it's a little balanced. I think that'd be fun. And then we'll go moody on the bottom half of this. Although, maybe I should just do a little bit of moody on the bottom of this one blue too. Maybe. Haven't decided. It's the beauty of watercolors. When you're making it up, you can do whatever you want. A little bit of this turquoise too, why not? Oh, such a pretty color. Again, if you guys have watched the show, you know we love our turquoise. Look, I want a little bit, maybe if I go with that cerise, just on the top here. Cerise and that turquoise blue makes a really pretty purple too, as you can see. I'm going to pull it down just a little bit so that it flows. Kind of mixes in with that blue that I have going on. And then, since this is like a blue-green, if I go opposite on that with the orange, it should give me mud once it starts mixing. And this is how I go moody. So it's gonna go from really vibrant, beautiful colors to where I'm taking that vibrancy and the chroma down into more muted tones. Don't want the orange edge is kind of throwing me off here. But it's still kind of fun. Maybe if I get a darker here. How are we feeling about this so far? Oh no! I dripped some water. It's okay. Like it never happened. Except for it lifted because this is still watercolors, so as you can see, I dripped some watercolor, a little drop of watercolor there, and that's how easily it lifts, which is okay because if I just take my brush and kind of brush it back over, I can pretend like it never happened. I think it was this one that was it? No, it was carmine. Wrong color red. Carmine, take that, put that back in there. Fixed my boo-boo. Like it never happened. So anybody out there who is wondering how quickly this lifts and if it can lift, yes. And it lifts pretty easily. Okay, so take my cyan and orange and mix it on my palette here. I'll throw a little bit of that purple in there because I want to make this a little bit darker. And then I want to also take that same color that I just mixed, pull it into the stem here. Continuity, and it's already on my, brush. So, ooh, that actually turned out to be such a pretty dark blue. Alright, then I'm going to take that purple. I have a bunch of yellow up here. Purple and yellow make mud, and it is a weird mud. It's a funky brown. And it's one of those ones I don't ever really love it, but I think if I add a touch of this carmine, it'll pull it more warm, and it gets less icky mud. More of a magenta-y purple mud. That makes sense? Goes that way. Now, I want to, on the top of this one, also go a little bit more vibrant as well. I feel like it's good transition. What do you think? I think yeah. I also like the idea of not having anything in my background, just having this really bright, colorful thing on top of a pure white. I think that's really satisfying. So if I go here, what color? I'm like, let's go green. So that's got that transition. A little touch of that bright color there. And maybe if I go a little bit lemon yellow, just at the top here, that'll be fun too. So this is kind of the combination as well. The lemon yellow is really, really great mixed into that brilliant green to make a this really bright kind of green that I got into the leaves here. So that's lemon yellow and brilliant green. That's the mixture that got me the bright green kind of foliage color, and it works so well. Alright, so try not to overwork this one leaf. Get a little bit of a transition between those two, the bright and the moody side kind of flowing together. Now that is still wet, that purple. Might have to hit that with a little bit of a hairdryer to get that to dry up here so that I can finish that one leaf, but for now we'll leave it. Okay, so now let's go with this brilliant pink, and the opposite of that would be probably more of a green, which if you ever get this is what's gonna happen. If you ever take a brilliant, this is like a party trick, because you know how like some people can't say you can't mix your primary colors? Let me just clean this off and show you a party trick here. You can mix blue. So if you take a really bright magenta kind of color, that it has to lean more purple, right? So there's the cerise, and if you take that turquoise, which definitely leans more blue, even if I took the brilliant green, those two mixed together will make a blue, which is a really pretty color. And you can kind of go back and forth between the two of them, but it'll make a different kind of blue, which I really like, and I might just pop in here. Put that in the stem, maybe over here. And then, because I don't want a hard line there, I'm going to actually just take a wet brush that's clean, just kind of dab it and make that move a little bit more. Whoop! I just got a little boo-boo. It's okay. It's watercolor. No one's going to know. I'm going to take this clean brush and just wipe that back off. No one's going to know. How would they know? Nobody knows. And if I really, really can't get my watercolor to lift completely, what I can do is take a little bleed proof white and just pretend like it never happened and just clean it up. That's okay. Okay, so those two made a really pretty blue. That's not what I'm going for. I need more moody tones. So lemon yellow goes green. And this is a really fun way of playing with your colors and color theory and trying to see what your colors will mix and do. So let's go moody, a little bit more green. That's fun. All right, we're gonna go down here. We're gonna hit this one. Well, I made chromatic, more of a chromatic black than I did before. I like a little bit more color in this right now. Get a little bit more orange. Have a little bit of a transition. It's like almost like a warmer spot. Now also, if you do have any more questions, now is a great time to plug them in. We are almost done with our show as well. It's crazy because time flies when you're painting rainbow leaves. Can't get that on there. Let that one be a little bit lighter. I want a little bit more blue in this. I still want it muted. Can give me a bit of a transition between those two. Alright, I'll pull this down. Alright, getting close, getting close. Let's add a little bit more orange. It's gonna be a funky green. Add this to it, and I'm just gonna add, let's go Swiss. Warm it up a little. Just a subtle shift between what I already have on there. What's great is at the end of this, when I'm all done with the colors and they all dry, I can also go on top of it and add a little bit of, I was going to go on top of it with a micron pen. Or not micron, I'm sorry, this is the Accurate. So these are waterproof technical pens. They are fully waterproof, so if you wanted to draw with them before you actually do some watercolors. They won't move on you, which is really lovely. But they are really wonderful as far as like doing the lines that you need to define your edges. If you want lines, you really don't have to with something like this. Could just be this. It's quite lovely. All right, now we do that one last little leaf, and that purple is still not dry. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna dab it. We're gonna make it a little bit lighter. That's okay. All right, and then I wanted to go green and turquoise up here. Just really didn't want that purple flowing into it, and it would have if I hadn't moved that. I think other than this last little bit, we are essentially done with our Glitter Bomb Watercolor show. I hope you guys have enjoyed the demo that I showed you today. It's a really fun product. I hope you guys get your hands on these. They are so much fun to play with. Whether you are doing really vibrant, really colorful, glittery illustrations, or if you get a little bit more dark and moody with it, they're so much fun. Let me also just get this bloom out of there because it started to bloom on me and I don't want that. So there we go. Other than the fact that it's still a little wet. It's my rainbow to moody plant. That was such a great choice, guys. I really appreciate that. That was fun. I love that. I feel like there's a lot of like deeper meanings you can find in this, you know, if you want to. All right, so that was our Glitter Bomb Watercolors. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ugh, so many fun things to play with. Again, if you guys want to check these out, make sure you go to the website, JerrysArtarama.com. Type in today's class code, which is JL380. In the search bar, today's teacher's cart will come up, and everything I used will be right there for you to check out, except for the metallics. I didn't put those in there. We might have to add those, but I'll plug them in later. So. And of course, make sure if you do get a chance to play with these watercolors and you post it to any social media, tag us. We love to see what you create. It makes me so happy. Just at JerrysArtarama. Of course, Amanda will find you and then share it with me, and I get to see your amazing artwork. It just makes my heart sing every time I get to see your work. But tag us, and then there's also the Jerry's Live Facebook group if you want to go post it over there as well. It's free to join. All you have to do is just answer that one security question, otherwise you don't get let in, and we'll ask you to try again. But that is the Jerry's Live Facebook group. It's just a group of amazing artists, all kinds of people, from people who are hobbyists to professional artists, myself, Michaelia, all of us, we're in there. And then, of course, make sure you join us next week because Michaelia is going to be back. She's going to actually be doing some mixed media printmaking with the Magnani papers, which is actually going to be really cool. I've been seeing her prep for that. It's going to be a fun show. So that was everything. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!